Hello, Bethany Church, and hello, Area 51. I am Pastor Dave, the youth pastor, and this is from my desk. The only announcements I have for this week is I hope everything is going well and you are being blessed at camp. If you didn't go to camp, well, I hope you're having a great summer still. For August, I'm planning a beach day, so if you have recommendations for the date we should do the beach day, please just text me, call me, or email me at pastordave@bethanywaterford.org. So for today's lesson, we're going to talk about being unpopular. I know it's very difficult when you're young to come to terms with being unpopular. Being popular seems to be the most important thing. However, it's not. Being of God is the most important thing. And today's lesson is going to cover 2 Chronicles chapters 17 and 18. In these chapters, we see two nations, the northern nation of Israel and the southern nation of Judah. In the southern nation of Judah, we have King Jehoshaphat, and he's a good king. He's godly. He worships the Lord, and he puts his kingdom on the right track. He retakes land, and he sends out prophets as missionaries to the towns, and his kingdom profits greatly. It's a good kingdom. In the north, King Ahab doesn't quite do the same thing for the kingdom of Israel. He makes a lot of mistakes, and therefore some of his nation is taken away. And Aram takes a part of his nation known as Ramoth Gilead. So he calls upon the king of Judah, Jehoshaphat, to come to Samaria, his capital city, and help him in retaking this land. And Jehoshaphat comes up, and they ask the people what they should do. And all the people unanimously say, "Go, the Lord is on our side, we'll retake that land." They ask all the prophets and the false prophets at the time, because remember, he's worshiping false gods. They all say the same thing. They're afraid to go against what's popular. They all say, "Go, you're going to be victorious." It's a knife I made, by the way. Kind of cool. Still working on it. So they continue to go with that same line of, this is what the Lord wants. Nobody searched the scriptures or the scrolls at the time, and nobody really prayed to the Lord and looked towards him. They all just went with what's popular because it was popular. So Jehoshaphat, being a godly man, says, "Is there no prophets of the Lord here?" And King Ahab says, "Well, there's one. His name is Micaiah, but he always is prophesying bad news for me." Well, it's interesting that he says that because in Proverbs, I believe it's 14 verse 5, it says, "An honest witness does not deceive, but a false witness pours out lies." Interesting. So when Micaiah comes, all the people tell him, just continue with this lie. Tell the king what he wants to hear. They're afraid of the king. They're afraid of going against what's unpopular. Micaiah tells them, "I can only speak what the Lord, my God, tells me to speak." So he goes before the kings and they ask him, "Should we go to war?" They said, "Well, yeah, go ahead, whatever." He said, "No, we want the honest opinion. We want the honest truth. What does the Lord say?" And he says, "I see the people of Israel like a sheep without a shepherd." Meaning the shepherd is gone, but the people are still there. Terrifying for him. But the false prophet Zedekiah reaches up and even smacks him because he's unpopular. Even though Micaiah was godly, it looked like the entire nation couldn't stand him, hated him, because he was talking the truth. He was even imprisoned for a little while. But they don't listen to him. They go to war anyway. And the nation of Aram decides, we just want the king. They ordered all their troops not to fight with anybody except for King Ahab. They launch a singular arrow, it says, like the arrow behind me, at random. Because they didn't know that King Ahab was in disguise. And it hits him between the breastplate and his scale armor. And he ends up bleeding to death, and dogs lick the blood out of his chariot. It's important to not go with what's popular and go with what the Lord says. Today, it is popular to say things like, "Oh, I think God would like this," or "God would like that," without actually looking in God's book. It's important to look here if you want to know God's nature, because it's all laid out and it doesn't change. And it's meant to be that way. This book can't conform around me. I can't conform it to me to make it look like me, but I can conform to this book. And just like that, we are supposed to conform to what's inside this book. It may be difficult sometimes, it may be hard, and it may be unpopular, but it'll save you in the long run. Being unpopular isn't always a bad thing when you're doing it for the right reasons. Do it for God, and always God. Keep the faith, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend coming up. I will talk to you soon. I can't wait to see you again. God bless you.